Hello, welcome to the Sharpe Way Show. So happy to have you with me this evening, a little bit past 7 p.m. on the East Coast. And it is a Friday. I wasn't on yesterday. I was on a different show yesterday evening and doing some phone calls and doing some other work. I do a lot of work today. I got so screwed up today with a lot of work. And the worst part about today is all the work that I did ended in nothing. Yes. Ever had one of those days? You're busy doing so much stuff, and in the end, nothing got done. That was me today. So I'm a few minutes late, just a couple seconds, but I figured I'd put something together that was interesting because tomorrow is the AMA. Tomorrow is the Ask Me Anything. So that's be interesting. Sunday won't be a show, but I'll be back on Monday. So we'll be on tonight, Saturday, and on Monday. But today, something bugged me. And I thought, you know what? If it bugs me, I should probably talk about it. It's bugging me, so I'm going to talk about it. So I am. And it was the interview that was done with RFK Jr. and the one and only Kaitlan Collins from CNN. I am unsure why Kaitlan still has a job. Oh, no, I'm sure. Now I get it. Just watching it, I know why she has a job. I didn't understand why. Now I do. As usual, it's a CNN piece. Expect what you can expect. I think you know. But I think it does talk about a lot of things that Kennedy is doing, which is great. He's talking more about it. And he has to go on these shows, right? He needs to. Even though many of times they're hit pieces, he has to. It's the only way that the voters will see it, that he can actually, sit there and take that time and energy to get people to understand him. And he can also begin to be more human and not just the one-word story they constantly use about him. So I'm going to pop that up right now. Let me grab that if I could. It was actually, oh, nope, that's not what I'm going to do. It is actually it's not that long, but I'm going to go through it and we can chat about it real fast. There is something that's kind of interesting. And of course, at the end, they have to come in because CNN always does that. CNN, after they do the interview, then they have people show up so they can attack the person on the interview in case it didn't go as poorly as they wanted it to go, right? So if the hit piece wasn't as hitty enough, is that a word? Wasn't hit enough, then the hit men will come in and then make sure they punch them. So that's kind of how they keep going. So yeah, that's what they do. So here we go. Let's grab a couple if we can.
By the HHS Secretary, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. It's great to have you here. You've just unveiled this new report, and a lot of it focuses on chronic disease in children, which in part, when you read into this, essentially says that you believe a lot of that has to do with ultra-processed foods, chemical exposures, lack of physical activity, stress, and excessive use of prescription drugs.
Now, what she just said, is there anyone who has a kid right now who listens to that and goes, that's dumb? Everyone listens to that and goes, yeah, at least one of those is something that affects my kid. Probably at least 2 or 3 of them. But the odds are at least one of those things affects your kid. If you're sad to affect your kid, awesome. You watch other kids affected by it. Maybe even yourself affected by it. But Kaitlan says it almost as if this is a stupid idea or it's a new idea. That's how she starts this. Now, again, I'm not mad at her for that because that's what she does. But this is where we are now. These ideas that if you had said what she just said 2 years ago, right? So before Kennedy was running for office, 3 years ago, maybe before he was running for office, maybe when he was still a Democrat or whatever, and you had just said this, hey, there's some guy saying this. Everyone would be like, yeah, oh, we got to work on this. Absolutely. We just got to work on this. But it's RFK Jr. Therefore, this is stupid. That's just how it works. See, note on the bottom, what does it say? Maha report blames the V word. I want to say it. I'm on YouTube. Food, pesticides for sick kids. Breaking news. Maha report blames the V word, foods, pesticides for sick kids. Like, that's a crazy thing. That's a dumb thing. That's crazy, isn't it? Well, let me ask. If you are a supporter of the Democrats, Republicans in the past, did they try to solve this problem?
3 rules for surviving.
I'm going to grab this real fast. Now, of course not. They didn't. They didn't try to find an answer for this. They weren't sitting here saying, oh, let's find an answer. We'll figure it out. They didn't do that at all.
Real world assault.
At all.
Rule number 1.
So I hope you guys can't hear that. So anyways, let me keep going if I could.
If people are reading this and say, okay, but what are the solutions to fix that? What would you say?
Well, this exercise was really a
a diagnostic exercise. And it's important because this has never happened in the federal government, where you have all the agencies recognizing we have a chronic disease crisis.
Think about that. We've had a chronic disease crisis. Everyone knows at least 20 years. I mean, minimum, everyone would know. Everyone knew it for at least 10, for sure. But I mean, we probably knew it for 20. First time it's happened. But he's a bad guy. But he's a bad guy, though.
And President Biden did his HHS directives. The word chronic disease was never mentioned. And so my uncle tried to do this in 1962 after Rachel Carson's book came out.
Now, Rachel Carson's book came out, 60-something. Something spring. Hold on. Let me actually check this out. She wrote a book, by the way, back before I check it out. It's in his 60s, something spring. It was about like how the environment is poisoning our kids. That's what this book was about. And his dad obviously read the book, thought it was amazing, and was trying to fix things, trying to repair things. One reason why Nixon started the EPA, that was one of the reasons, right? Because of this. It was an environmental book. Hold on, let me see if I can find it real fast. Silent Spring was the name of the book by Rachel Carson in 1962. Okay, so 62. Talking about DDT, pesticides, the environment, all that stuff. Yes. Now, that book came out in 62. His dad wanted to fix something. His dad went away. And he's still here doing it. Well, there we go. Yes.
And unfortunately, he was killed before that. For 60 years, we've been waiting for the government to recognize that there's a crisis in chemical exposures and the increase in chronic disease.
So you might say to yourself, wait a minute, Larry, okay, so is it that crazy to blame these things, the V's, the food, the pesticides for sick kids? Is it that crazy? Here's what I ask anybody who would think that's crazy, who's watching going, this is silly, RFK Jr. is a kook. Okay, maybe he is, maybe. But let me ask the question. Where was the answer from Biden? Where was the answer for Trump before? Where was the answer from Obama? Where was the answer from Bush? Where was the answer for Clinton? Where was the answer for any of those presidents? Where was the answer? What did their HHS secretary do? None of them. Until Kennedy pops up, Trump doesn't do it. Trump wasn't talking about this. If you remember, before Bobby Kennedy was going to jump on the Trump train, Trump wasn't talking about this. He wasn't bringing this up. He wasn't saying any of this stuff. None of it. Now he is. This is because of Bobby Kennedy Jr.
This was important for that, but this was just the diagnostics. 60 days from now, we put out the prescription. So we will put out a series of policies to address this issue and to eliminate the chronic.
So he's actually going to come up with policies. He's saying, I'm going to have some policies within, he said 60 days, that's going to start addressing these issues. Now, do I think 60 days is realistic? No, I don't. Every time these guys say stuff, even Bobby Kennedy Jr., I always go, no. And the reason why I say no, do I think that Bobby Kennedy Jr. could create policies in 60 days? I do. Do I think the swamp that is the HHS will allow him to? No. I don't say that at all. I can't imagine that happening. No, I can't imagine it. So I hope it's 60 days. I'm not counting on it.
Yeah, but I'm sure you've been thinking about this. I mean, a lot of these are things that you've been saying for years now.
Yeah.
So she goes, I'm sure you know already, right? Did you ask those questions of the previous HHS secretaries? Did you? No. Did CNN? No. Did anyone on mainstream media? No. And now she's flippant. How come you don't have every answer right away when no one else has had any answer at all?
We're already doing it. I mean, we were already getting rid of the food dyes.
Already there.
We're changing the SNAP program so that we now are handling a tsunami of applications by the states to give them SNAP waivers so to get sodas and candies off of SNAP. We're reviewing the dietary guidelines, and we're going to have those up in August. And the dietary guidelines under President Biden were 453 pages, and they were basically a product of the same kind of industrial impulses.
Industrial impulses. That's what we're eating. We are eating industrial impulses. Isn't that terrible? Kim, you're watching. Okay. I tried to bait you with another one of my, is RFK doing something good? So you're watching, so it worked. My bait's working. I'm drawing Kim in every time. There we go. I got you. I'm glad you came, Kim.
that put Fruit Loops at the top of the food pyramid.
But you're saying in 60.
And she blows this off. He just said, and put Fruit Loops at the top of the food pyramid. Like, that's the number one, Fruit Loops. And she's like, but. So processed sugar, processed food, poisonous dyes, all these things that are bad. She's like, whatever. But how can I make you look bad? Okay, sorry, Kaitlan. Go make him look bad. I'm sorry. You got a job to do. Do your job.
Days, people should expect to see concrete solutions of how these.
And the reason why does she say that? Does Kaitlan Collins actually care about any of these actual concrete solutions? No, not at all. She does not care at all about. What she cares about is nailing him down to specific numbers, so when he can't do it and he's held back by the deep state, which he will be, I've already said it, he will be. When that's held back, she can go, but you told us 60 days. See, you're a liar. Everything you've said is now irrelevant. Let's go back to the old ways. Keep eating your Fruit Loops and keep dying. That's what she wants. So yes. Sonia's here. Sonia, good to see you. She says, it says fruit in Fruit Loops though. True. So it must be fruity. That's true. And you know what? FedEx has federal in it. So it must be part of the government. True and true. All true. Absolutely correct. Yes. Well done.
Things can be solved.
We're already reviewing the GRAS standards, the generally recognized as safe standards. We've done more.
Now, of course, breaking news again. RFK Jr., food that Americans eat is poisoned. And he put that in quotes. Nothing but trying their best to make him look bad. Nothing but trying to make him look bad. That's it. There we go. Ooh, Rick says, actually, it says fruit with 2 O's, which is a special type of fruit. The one that's just sugar and poisonous chemicals. That's the other kind of fruit, Sonia. See, the fruit you were talking about was F-R-U-I, F-R-O-O-T. That's the poison one. Sugary poison one. Correct. Michael, thanks for being a member. He says Federal Reserve. Yes. So clearly Federal Reserve, part of government. Must be. True. Right? The National Basketball Association, it's part of the nation. Says national right in it. There we go. 100% correct. Yes.
100 days than my predecessors have done in decades.
True. He says he's done more in 100 days than his predecessors have done in decades. Absolutely true. Even if he were to stop now and go, you know what? I'm done. I'm quitting. I'm heading back to New York and hang out on the Hudson River. He would have already done more than all the last ones. Correct.
In terms of redressing the causes of this problem.
Yeah.
So, and we're going to keep doing that. We're not waiting for this to come out, but we are going to do comprehensive diagnostics across the entire.
When have you heard anyone in the government like this talk about comprehensive diagnostic anything? I mean, maybe someone has. I don't remember this. The last time I heard anything even close to this, and it wasn't the same, but close to it, was Ross Perot. When he was talking about, diagnosing everything, opening up, seeing what's wrong, opening up the hood. And that wasn't this, but that was kind of this-ish. But that was him talking before he got in. Now he's in. He's talking about this. Yes. Kim is commenting. Thank you, Kim. Thank you for being a member and for showing up. Thank you for taking my bait, Kim. Thank you. You might be right about the 60 days, but I really believe RFK will prevail. I do too. But remember, she doesn't care if he prevails. What she cares about is making him look bad. So if he prevails, she has to make him look bad. I wish I was joking. You can see the lower third with the putting along the chyron. You can see it right there, right? They're trying to make him look bad. That's the goal. So she will take the 60 days. The deep state will go out of its way to fail on that deadline, out of its way to fail on the deadline. She will then say he's a liar and say, see, he failed. Not that he failed to make things better, but he failed in 60 days, and therefore he's evil. So if he were to save the world in 61 days, she would not report RFK Jr. saved the world. She would report he's a liar. That's why I'm saying this. I'm not saying you're wrong, Kim. I'm saying how they will spin it, and that her goal was to spin.
Government of what each of these agencies need to be doing to end the epidemic.
Well, and you're talking about work.
Yes. Now, Joel's very savvy. Joel's over on Rumble, and Joel says, RFK Jr. is clueless. He'll never get big lobby checks talking this way. True. He's messing up. He can't get them checks now. If you take the Fruit Loops and take them off the top, how are you going to get all that cash? Good point. If you don't let Monsanto spray stuff, how you get that cash? It's true. He's messing up. He's messing up. He's not getting that cash. His wife better go back to work. He better send his wife back off to work, do a couple more movies, do some more TV shows, maybe do like another Curb Your Enthusiasm season or something so she makes some more cash. He's going to go broke talking this way. He's going to have some problems. I agree. I completely agree. You are right, Joel.
Working with other agency heads. The EPA is also on your commission, and as part of this, Lee Zeldin was there in the room. Your report says that kids are exposed to harmful environmental toxins.
Your report says that kids are exposed to harmful environmental toxins. And she's like, look at that face, like, dummy. Like, that's true. Nobody believes that. Nobody believes that.
And microplastics. I wonder how you square that with some moves that we've seen the EPA take to roll back.
Oh, so now she's saying, how do you square it with what the EPA's done? Well, let's be clear. The EPA is run by Lee Zeldin. Lee Zeldin's not Maha. He's not Maha. So whether you guys like Lee Zeldin, don't like Lee Zeldin, whatever you think about him, he's not Maha. He is not on the same page as RFK Jr. unless he can get paid. See, Lee Zeldin's smart when it comes to grifting. He's good at that. So like he knows where to go. So if he could get paid and help him, he will. But if that gets in the way, he got bills to pay. Just saying. He's got bills to pay. And again, I wish I was joking. I'm not. I'm not at all.
Or to weaken rules that limit forever chemicals in drinking water, which obviously would be one of those issues.
We're working very hard on PFAS. A lot of what you read about.
No, he can't answer that question because he knows that Lee is not on board, and he can't attack Lee because they all work for Trump. So he can't attack Lee. She just goes, look over here, which is a smart move. I'd be doing the same thing. I'm just telling you the truth. If I was RFK Jr. right now, I'd be doing the same thing. I'd be dodging. Look over here. That's what I'd be doing. It's the right move.
EPA's regulations, rolling back regulations on PFAS is not true. PFAS is something I've been working on for years. I was part of the trial team in the first case against.
So she finds out, okay, so I can't make you look bad on this one, but I can tie you to Lee Zeldin, who in her world, I'm not saying Lee Zeldin's doing a bad thing, right? I'm not saying he's doing bad. I haven't been paying much attention. So maybe what he's doing at EPA is bad. I haven't paid attention to him before. I probably should, but I haven't. In any case, she's saying, but he's rolling back these things and crushing things. Aren't you going to virtue signal and call him a bad guy? Oh, you're not, because you're really a bad guy too, aren't you?
PFAS, and it is a priority for my agency. It's also a priority for Brooke Rollins at USDA because the PFAS is now on farm crops, and we're going to do everything in our power to limit the proliferation of PFAS in the environment and limit its use as a.
So he's limiting all the stuff that goes in those bad plastics, right? Of course. Now, I'm going to ask you if you would. Can you remember, any of you, if you can remember, an HHS secretary in the past talking about plastics in general? No. But see her face? She's still pissed.
Manufacturing.
So it sounds like you don't think that those rules should be weakened or rolled back or postponed.
So it sounds like you want to say that Lee Zeldin's a bad guy, right? I'm kind of changing what the question is. So you want to say Lee Zeldin's a bad guy, right? You want to say that Trump is wrong? Remember, the orange man is bad. So we do want to somehow tie this back to the orange man being bad, right? That's what she's actually saying. And her audience is like, say orange man bad. Say it. Her audience, she's losing her audience unless she actually gets someone to say orange man bad. And so she goes here.
As some of the instances have shown.
I can't talk to the details of what's come out of EPA on that issue. I know that Lee, I've asked Lee about it 2 days ago, and he said everything that we've been reading about it is wrong, that he's committed to regulating PFAS and PFOAs.
Yeah, I haven't seen them say otherwise publicly, but I think
See, I haven't seen him say otherwise publicly, but I do want to make him look bad.
Just raise questions of, the
So
EPA is promising this huge environmental rollback. How does that coincide with what you'd like to see happen here?
Yeah. So, again, her question. I haven't heard him say anything, but I need to make him look bad. So I'll just say some stuff, and hopefully you can help me make him look bad. You heard it. I wish I was making this up. You literally heard her say that. That's it. He said, yeah, he hasn't said anything bad, but I want to make him look bad. So I got to do something. So how about I'll say these things, and then you can agree. And then afterwards, I can bring on some expert, and we can call all of you bad. And then we can make my audience happy. That would work. Let me grab a couple of these comments. A lot of comments popping. I do want to grab some of them. Before I go there, guys, if you don't mind, if you like what I'm doing, please click the button known as Lima India Kilo Echo. That's the one. Please click that button. It does matter. You guys know how I get banned constantly. You know how I get the shadowed all the time. Please help me out. Click that button. It is free. You can do that. Also, what else you can do? You can also, if you want to, repost this someplace, right? You can repost this someplace else. You can repost it in a Facebook page, share it on X, whatever the case may be. You can also become a member if you want to. Members can submit reaction videos. Yes, this one no one submitted. This one was mine. The last couple of videos that I showed were all submitted by somebody. And I'm getting a lot of them. This one was mine. This is not a submitted one. But if you're a member, you can submit videos for me to react to. So if you can't become a member, it's okay if you can do so. Becoming a member is $49 per month. Click that join button on YouTube, or you can do it also on Rumble if you want to. Click that subscribe button during the live only. Become a member at $49 per month. You can do that if you want to. If you want to get your comment to the front right away, you could just rant me on Rumble or super chat me on YouTube. Either way, pop that out and it will go right to the front as soon as you like. But make sure no matter what, you have subscribed to Sharpe Way YouTube and click all notifications so you get notified. It does matter. If you can do so, please do so. All right, and grab some more comments if I could. I always try to grab my members to the best of my ability if I can. So, all righty. Let's see if I can do this here. Rick asked, I tried to find whatever show Larry has guested on during the past week. I couldn't find him on Kim Iverson or last night's. Was that the Revolutionary Blackout Network? Oh, it was not. Yeah. You know what? A couple of you have talked about this, and Liberty Lady has bugged me about this too. I need to be better on getting this out to you guys. Maybe I'll put it as a post on YouTube. The problem is I don't always know exactly when I'm going on, and I often don't know my shows and my guests and stuff until last minute often. And Rumble only allows me to put it on 24 hours before. When I was just doing YouTube, I could put it out a week in advance. So let me see what I can do about this, Rick. It's a valid point. I should probably react to it. I should. It's a valid point. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Yes. Okay. Let me keep going down here if I can. Thank you. Liberty says, Larry is on Are You Smarter Than a Politician next week. It's a game show. It is going to be the 30th. Next week, the 30th. That's when I'll be on. Yep. Absolutely. Super Weapons asked about this too. Larry, can you do a YouTube or Twitter static post of shows you're going to be on or have been on recently? You know what? That's like 3 of you talked about it. I will start working on that. I will. I'll see what I can do. I'm behind on so many things. Getting a lot of stuff done. Team knows I have been overwhelmed with all types of work, and sadly, a lot of it is not going as well as I want it to go. For those of you who know, what I do is I don't have a salary. Like I don't get paid by the hour. I have to close deals to get paid. And I've been working a lot of deals that have not gone through recently. Maybe that means the economy is going bad. I hope not, but it might be that. So I have been working on that to the best of my ability. So I'm trying to. All right. So let me grab a couple more of these comments if I could. All righty. Kim says, RFK is the one that can make you eat your words, Larry. I hope so. Look, if he can get it in under 60 days, I hope I'm wrong, Kim. I do. I'm usually right. You guys have been watching me for a long time. I'm usually right. Once in a while, I'm wrong. Does happen. I'm not perfect. I'm just often right, right? One of the reasons why I can survive as a consultant, if you're a consultant, you got to usually be right or you can't make any money. So if you bet on me, overall, you're going to win. Sometimes you're going to lose. I'm not always right, but I am right 90+% of the time. So you're going to end up winning, even though you're going to lose sometimes. So I hope I'm wrong, Kim. I hope it gets done in 60 days. But I just feel like if the deep state can smack him in some way, that's how they'll do it. They'll delay it. That's just what I think. So, yeah. Mastermind Hour says, I am so anti-X that I now refer to my ex-wife as my Grimes wife, X-rays as radiographs, X-Men as Xavier boys, and Malcolm X as Malcolm Twitter. I am going to use Malcolm Twitter. That's a good one. Malcolm Twitter. Oh, I mean Malcolm X. That's a good joke. I'm going to use that one. Yes, I'm definitely going to use that one. All righty, grab a couple more of these. Kim is wow. Okay, I'm glad I got you. She says, had Ross Perot been elected, we would have all of what is ahead of us behind us. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes, agreed. Yes. Rick, again, thank you for being a member, my friend. He says, fortunately, CNN, especially Jake Tapper, are utterly discredited with any thinking person. Yes and no, Rick. There's a lot of people who are laughing at CNN now. That's true. You're right. People don't take these people seriously. It's true. But they still have enough credibility with the right people, if it makes any sense. Like people who, particularly older people, who want to be seen as important or valuable, want to be on CNN. So a lot of the wealthier people, older people of America still watch the CNN, Foxes, MSNBCs of the world. They do. It's a smaller audience, but it's a more compact audience of wealthier, older people. So there is some value to it still. And on top of that, people who watch CNN usually vote. So if you're trying to get elected, CNN still is going to help you with that. Not as Joe Rogan's obviously going to be better, right? But I mean, still, it's going to help. So there still is some value to it. I think it's going away. I'm agreeing with you, it's going away. But it's the second piece. The people who are watching this, many of them are watching it not because they want news. They're watching it because they want their preconceived notions to be validated. And CNN does that. MSNBC does it better. Fox does it better, right? CNN doesn't do it as well. But MSNBC and Fox actually do it much better. And that's why some people watch this, right? The person who watches CNN says, I'm not a lefty like those MSNBC people. I believe in real news, CNN. I know some of you actually laughed when I did that. But some people who watch this believe that. Like in their minds, like, oh no, if I was a Democrat, I'd watch MSNBC. I'm not that. I watch CNN. Tell me Orange Man bad. One more time. Say it. Say it. That's the person. So, yeah. So remember, people still watch Jake Tapper. I don't know why. He's terrible. People still watch Kaitlan. She's terrible. And they still watch her. And that's why when Trump insults them so badly, there was a time in my life where I would have been bothered by that. That time is not today. I'm like, good. Call them names. I don't care. But if this is 20 years ago, I might be like, wait a minute. You can't do that. I might have said that 20 years ago. Not anymore. So anyway, yes. All righty. Let's see if I can go down here if I can. Kim says, glyphosate is in all our water, even the rain. Everyone I know who cares about their health in any way, shape, or form drinks filtered water. Everyone I know who cares about their health, talks about their health, drinks filtered water. I've been drinking filtered water for literally decades. Decades. Yes. When I was a kid, I didn't. Of course, my mom didn't know any better, and I didn't know any better when I was a kid. But as I got older, for decades. Absolutely. So I agree. Yes. All righty. Shelly says, thank you for being a member, Shelly. Lee Zeldin is enemy of New York State elections. That's who I see him as. True. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Absolutely. IC says, rolling back equals it already exists. Yes. And she goes on to say, the water's already contaminated. Yes. She goes on to say, people have already been poisoned. True. I saw someone, where did I see this? I forgot what video I saw. Someone was being interviewed and mentioned that we're now finding, as we do autopsies, we're finding microplastics in people's brains now. Now, again, I don't know if that's true. I saw that on an interview with some doctor who said so. I forgot who it was, but someone mentioned it. Said that now when we do autopsies, we now look for that. And we did in the past. Now we do. And we find And someone said, oh God, I wish I could. I'm saying it because it's interesting. I don't know if it's true because I don't remember the source. So please, when I say this, I'm saying it because it's interesting. I don't know if it's true because I don't remember the source, but it stuck with me. The guy said, I think he was a doctor, but he might not have been. He might have just been some influencer guy. He said that they can find up to a credit card's worth of plastic inside one body. That seems insane to me. Like that doesn't seem right. Right? I don't want that to be true. I don't know if it is. I'm going to say it's not true because I don't want it to be true. So I'm just going to say it's not true. But even if it's half a credit card or a third of a credit, whatever, if there's really that much plastic in our bodies, wow. Now, according to this guy, we do get rid of it. Like it can leave your body. It can, but you got to stop putting it back in. And that's what he says. Again, I don't know if that's true. Some of you know those details. Put them in the comments. Please let me know, or give me a link to someone who knows the details of that. I know microplastics are bad, but I actually don't know details of how much is in our bodies, or if I assume we get rid of it because we get rid of almost anything. So that's what this guy said. Am I off? You can tell me. I'm happy to be wrong. Grace says, which RFK Jr. would hire you as a keto brain health consultant? Me too. Keto libertarians are weight loss and brain magic. Yes. I'm there. Remember, keto is magic. Let me keep going if I could.
People may say is the left hand talking to the right hand on achieving these goals.
The rollbacks that Lee is trying to.
Now note, he actually says things that make sense. So what does she do? Let me throw Lee Zeldin in here. He's an unlikable character. I'll put him in and I'll link you to him. Why is he talking about him? Why still about him? That's the reason.
Is orchestrating there are designed to restart industrial policy. Mm-hmm. And he recognizes, many people do in this government, that economic prosperity in our country is also a social determinant of health. We found that out during the pandemic.
See that? He's saying it, right? The wealthier you are, you're going to have better health. Why? Well, you do things like have filtered water. You do things like buy better food. You probably don't live in a place where the only place you can get food is a bodega, right? So yeah.
When we put people out of work and our chronic disease.
Yes. And you probably don't get chronic disease as much, right? Because you eat better food and you have more exercise and you can afford to have a personal trainer and all those cool things, right? Doesn't mean rich people are healthy. It just means rich people have more options, right? Money doesn't bring you happiness. Money gives you more options for happiness. So you have more choices. So your odds are higher. You're going to be happier because you have more choices, right? But again, rich people can be unhappy and unhealthy too, of course.
Exploded. So we need a strong economy. We need a balance where there's a strong economy, but also those constituents and ingredients and residues that are hurting American health, and we get rid of them. And that is what the report will do in 60 days.
On
60-day report. Kim, I hope I'm wrong. I do. I hope I'm wrong.
Ultra processed foods and getting into that here. You were born into a privileged background, obviously not something you can control, but
that's an insult. This is CNN. That was an insult. That was not a descriptor. Just to be clear, that was not a descriptor. That was an insult.
I wonder what you would say to maybe a single mom.
See you privileged. How can you understand what poor people think? Do you think she asked that about Kamala Harris? Do you think she asked that about Joe Biden? Do you think she asked that about any of those people? No, of course not.
Of two kids who's reading this report about how harmful these cheap but very accessible foods are for her family, and saying, well, sometimes that's the best we can do, and that's why that's what's on the food.
She's not wrong. I'll be very clear. She's not wrong. Not just the best you can do. It's also what you know, right? If you look at a lot, and I remember this particularly when I was a youngster, particularly. My mom used to actually cook a lot when I was younger. She's an immigrant, wasn't an immigrant, she passed, but she was an immigrant. And many immigrants to America come from a place where you cook a lot. It's what you do. It's your culture. It's what you do, right? You cook a lot. But when I got older, my father died. She didn't cook as much anymore. So I had a lot of packaged food as a teenager. Now, luckily, I was a young, active teenager. Didn't destroy me too badly. But I didn't become accustomed to it. I became accustomed to having packaged food. So I thought it was normal. Why? Because it's what I did. And for many people who are accustomed to to go into the bodega. I grew up in the Bronx, a little kid, to go into the bodega and grabbing something from a pack that's packaged and assuming that's totally fine because it's in plastic and it's all processed and because it's good, because it says hostess on it or whatever, you think it's fine. And your parents think it's fine. And it probably says vitamins on it, right? And it's like, it says 10% fruit or whatever it says on it. Oh, it must be healthy then. And it's clearly not. You get accustomed to it. So even if you then know, if someone tells you, hey, Shelly, you shouldn't eat this thing. If you were raised on this thing, it's hard to stop. It's what you know. It's how you feel. It's what makes things happen. So you have to make those changes. And it can become challenging. Her point in this question, her point's valid when she knows why she's smiling so much. She's like, I got you because now you're privileged and I'm going to make you talk about poor people. Ha ha. But the point here, most people don't know, Bobby Kennedy Jr. has fought for poor people more than I can't think of any other president in my lifetime. No. Sorry, one person was maybe equal or better than him. But that was after he was no longer president, Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter was like building houses for like poor people. So maybe Jimmy Carter can match him. Post-presidency, maybe Jimmy Carter can match him. Not during the presidency. Post-presidency, maybe. Anybody else? Bill Clinton, he helping people out now? No. George W. Bush? No. Reagan? No. I don't know. So he's doing better than all of them. Except maybe post-presidency Carter, maybe. That I could see the argument for that.
Or at the table at the end of the day, or that's what's in their lunchbox.
It's an illusion to think that processed food is cheap. Because you end up paying for it with diabetes. You end up paying for it with autoimmune dysregulation, with mitochondrial dysfunction. Everything
you just said is 100% true. However, that doesn't help that family. He's correct. But if I'm stuck making whatever, $16 an hour, and I got 2 kids, I can't afford that, right? So what is the way of fixing that? That's actually localism. It's actually the actual answer to her question is not HHS except for being used in the bully pulpit. The actual answer is localism. The actual answer is making it easy to have things like farm to table. The answer is stopping to make the world so tough in cities that only franchises can survive. The local business struggles to survive, right? So if you want to go to a local business here, it's a chain can do far better. There's a 7-Eleven in my neighborhood. 7-Eleven is just processed food. That's all it is. It's just processed food, and it can survive. It's a 7-Eleven with food that's cheap because it can survive here because of all the, and there's also some individual health food stores, and you're dropping a bunch of money for everything. So she's right. That poor mom with 2 kids probably can't go into the cool health food store because she can't afford it, or she can't like pay her bills if she does that. She has to go to another large chain and go in the center of the aisle to buy food. It's a valid issue, but I don't think one that he can necessarily survive. I don't think so. So yeah. Lunatic, thank you for the $20. Memorial Day weekend. I want to know how many graves you are visiting or names and faces. All gave some gave all. As a libertarian, Chris Bootleg Darnell, I remember you, Captain Russell, Major Eric Bauer, I see you. I remember Bootleg. I remember. I do. I had him on my show. I remember. Absolutely. Yeah. I will visit one. Only one. You want to know? I will visit only one. And I generally visit only one. So I hope I answered your question. And let me explain why, so we're clear on this. Memorial Day, for most people, as they talk about those who passed. And I am maybe controversial on this, Lunatic. The guys who are gone, I don't feel for them. And maybe it's controversial, but I don't. Their journey is over, right? And you're a vet. And you know that when we're about to go off to combat, what are we concerned about? The thing we talk about all the time, which was, I hope that if I get it, it's a sniper's bullet. And you might go, what? Why? Someone who's not a vet may not get this. If you're a vet, you get this. If you're not a vet, you may not get it. You might get it, but you may not get it. A bullet travels faster than the speed of sound. People don't realize that. It does. because it travels faster than the speed of sound. You get hit in the head by a sniper and taken out before you even hear the bullet. So as you're walking, lights go out. That's it. Best way to go. Lights go out. That's it. Lights go out. Every Marine I knew was like, if I get hit, I hope it's just sniper's bullet. And that's it. I won't know what hit me. I'll never know. I'm walking. Lights go out. That's it. That's what every Marine that I remember talking with, what we wanted. And that was the way to go. And we talked very morbidly about it. But once you're gone, your journey's over. Your tour of duty's over. You're good. It's the people who remain. They're the ones who are hurting. Memorial Day, this is my view. People disagree with me. I get it. You can if you want to. Memorial Day to me isn't about those who are gone. It's about those who are remaining. They're the ones who feel the pain now. They're the ones who feel the pain. So I will have several phone calls on Monday. I will not be visiting. I'll visit one over the weekend. I'll have many phone calls on Monday, and I often do. People who either lost someone, people who even didn't lose. I count one more important, lunatic, which is even worse. And again, if you're a veteran, you'll get this. The guys who were killed in combat, and compared to many countries by percentage, we don't have that many that are killed. We have a too many, obviously, but we don't have that many that are killed. But yeah, those people, it's bad if you are a family member and your husband, father, cousin, son was killed in combat. Obviously terrible, you lost that person. But you can still deify them. You can still socially handle it. That makes it better than the reverse, the worst, which is they come home and then end themselves. That is the worst. There is, when it comes to losing a veteran, there is nothing worse than that. Let me repeat that. There is nothing worse than that. Because when that happens, everyone around them says, what did I do wrong? Why wasn't I there for him? How did I screw that up? Why did the system fail him? Why did we fail him? I'm so sad I said this. I wish I hadn't have done this. I wish I hadn't have done that. Losing your veteran that way is the worst. There's nothing worse than that. Losing your loved one, no matter what, is bad. That's the worst. So when I think about Memorial Day, and I know I'm the oddball. Most people, they want to, fly to airplanes and fly to flags, talk about the dead. I get it. I talk about the families that are left over and those that ended themselves, because I think that's far worse and more effective. So just my view, lunatic. You may think I'm crazy or wrong, but that's my view. Lunatic goes on to say, think about the $5. Men and women, they understood. Ideology, constitution, common practice for all, cooperation for all. Yes, as always, but we have to make sure that the culture is shifting that way. As always. Why do I do this show, lunatic? Because culture. Why do I not just talk about the news, right? I don't just talk about, and today the news, Biden did this and Trump did that. And blah, blah. You can get that anywhere. You can get that anywhere, right? You don't got to have this show for that. I talk about culture. I talk about us shifting the culture, shifting it in ways that make more sense. I talk about politics too, obviously, right? But I add both. So the cultural change does matter. I hope I answered your question, at least. It's a good question. I hope I answered it. So yes. All right. Kim says, I hope he gets it in 120 days. I do hope he makes you eat your words. Me too. They'll be yummy, Kim. These will be some of the most delicious words I've ever eaten. I'm with you. I agree. I hope he does it. I completely agree. Yes, 100%. So Rick says, a web page for Larry News. I have a Sharpe Way. I do have a Sharpe Way YouTube. I'm not YouTube. I do have a Sharpe Way website, but I never really use it. Maybe. Here's the problem, Rick. Here's the problem. To be very fair with you all. I spend too much time working. I don't have time to do all the things you want me to do. I would love to. I wish I could do this full time. To be very fair with all of you, if you're asking, I still lose money on this show. I don't make any money on this. I literally lose money on the show. So yeah, so I have to grow this a whole lot more. So to grow this a whole lot more, I'll bug you again. Click the like button if you haven't clicked it so I can grow more. I've got to grow more. That's the issue. I have to grow more. So, yes. All right, let me keep going here. Kim goes on to say, microplastic in newborn babies. Also true. It's from the mom and her milk. It's true. I know it sounds crazy, but Kim is correct. That is true.
With inflammation, and you end up paying much higher costs in the long run.
But they're not paying.
Now, there are food deserts in this country.
Yeah.
Where people at this point have a hard time getting access. It's
not really a food desert. It is, but yeah, there is food. It's just not good food.
I met with health technology companies this week, and it was an extraordinary meeting. And one of the statements they made is that there's no place in this country, in the lower 48, where you can't get access to good foods. It's not easy access, as it had been in the past, and
he's correct in that regard. Can you? Yes. It just becomes so challenging. Can someone in a food desert, meaning good food desert? There is no place in America except, he means that like Alaska, right? That's why he says lower 48. There's no place in America where you can't get food. That's not a thing. People aren't starving in America. That's not a thing. The question is, can you get good, nutritious food? That is a challenge in many parts of America. But just food? That's easy. And I'm not mean that flippantly. It's true. Even if you're broke, there are food pantries, banks, EBT. There's tons of ways for you to get food, I'm using my air quotes, in America. That's true. America does not have a starvation problem at all, a caloric intake problem at all. It's not a thing. When they tell you kids are starving, not true at all. Do we have a nutrition problem? Yes, and a bad one. We don't have a caloric intake problem in America. Nobody, again, I've been this before. The only people who are starving to death in America, it's less than 20 every year, sometimes less than 5 every year who starve to death in America. It is somehow done on purpose. And I explain what the purpose would be. Literally, someone is on life support, we pull the plug and let them starve to death. I know it's horrible, but that's one way. That's how someone can starve to death. 2, we have parents who are horrible or broken or mentally ill parents who starve their children to death. That does happen, again, purposefully. Or the other thing is when someone's an addict and or has mental issues combined, they will sometimes spend all their money only on drugs and not on food and starve themselves to death. That does happen sometimes. And lastly, there is the ED, which is a disorder of the consumable type. I can't say that phrase, believe it or not, because yes, YouTube will stop you for that. That type, like anorexia, like that. That type will also is why. Again, that's also purposeful. So people who starve to death in America, it's on purpose. The few that do, it's on purpose. So I just want to be clear on that piece. It is hard. Could you, if you live in a bad spot, get on 2 buses and, take a subway? You could. But is it realistic when you've got to work and have family? It becomes just unrealistic. Kaitlan's point's a valid point. I don't want to take it away from her. It's a valid point. I don't think he can fix it, though. I don't think he's the right guy to speak about it. But he's right. She's right, though.
It's been part of the economic drivers, and also the fact that people don't understand that these processed foods are poison.
Yes, also true.
They're more and more, and you're watching companies now that are.
Wait a minute, no. See, she goes, but they might, but they want a McDonald's. McDonald's is expensive now. I'm not making that up. McDonald's is expensive now. What some of the companies that are doing better now are like the TGI Fridays and those types, the Ruby Tuesdays, because it's about the same for McDonald's Ruby Tuesdays, and you just sit down, chill out in a restaurant. So they're actually making more money. It's true. Yes. Gray says, CNN is far more pompous and heads of their own ass than MSNBC. True. That's the part that bothers me, Grace. You've hit it perfectly. I prefer MSNBC and Fox to CNN. I do, because at least they're forward. Fox says, we like the right. That's who we like. We're going to have righties on. We're going to hammer left. Okay, I get it. Like, I know what I'm getting with Fox. MSNBC, open. We hate the right. Trump's evil. We're going to put on people who just say Trump bad. That's all we're going to do. That's it. I get it. I know where I am. CNN pretends to not be MSNBC and is. right? They pretend to be above the fray, and they're not. That's what the pompousness does bother me more. I agree with you completely. I totally agree.
Are changing their ingredients because of this movement, and are making good food more available to Americans because they're demanding it. There was no demand for it before. This report is about getting every American to demand the accessibility to good whole food in their neighborhoods. And that, it's going to be a process, but it's already happening. You see these big fast food conglomerates that are switching from seed oils to beef tallow fat.
Yep.
You see them reducing the ingredients. You see Chobani yogurt changing its ingredients because of the demand that has happened because of the MAHA movement. We are going to make sure they have apps that mothers who go into the grocery store have an app that they can send a flash on the barcode of every product and get a green light, red light, or yellow light. That will allow them.
HHS is creating that?
We're working with industry to do it, and they're already doing it.
It's already, my daughter uses one already. My daughter does it. My daughter goes through and does it. And my daughter says something that's very funny. She says, "It's funny, Dad, how when we go shopping, we buy ingredients, not packaged prepared food." And a lot of her friends buy packaged prepared food. So it's when you're doing it, it's different. So yes, absolutely. Those apps exist. You just go there, click, put it. Oh, okay, this has X, Y, Z. My daughter uses it for her makeup too. It's a makeup app. You put it and you can look and go, oh, okay, has this, that, the other thing. Yes, absolutely. 100%. So, all righty. Phil says, the mag. Oh, yes. Okay. Let me go back to, I saw this one here. Liberty Lady was talking about how she gave to Massey, and then people said that she was now a liberal because you know what Massey is? A liberal. Yeah. So and then he goes, the MAGA tribalism is tragic. Yeah, it's the reverse of what she's doing, right? She's saying that what he's saying is bad because he's connected to Trump. The opposite is also true. You're not connected to Trump? Bad. Both can work. Both can absolutely work. Yes. All righty. Let's see it. Daniel's threatening me somehow. Are you going to come beat me up, Daniel? I warned you before, and I warn you again. Cut the BS. Quit perpetuating misinformation and lies about autism. Stop perpetuating Kenny's negative garbage, and shut your mouth. I'm actually going to do neither of that, to be very forward with you, Daniel. I guess you can be mad. You can do that. I don't mind. If you want to talk about it, I'm happy to have you on my show. You can say something if you want to. If you feel I'm wrong, I don't mind at all. But I'm not going to stop. Just being very forward with you. I'm not going to. I guess you can yell at me if you want to. Or come beat me up if you want to. Do what you like. Doesn't matter. I live in New York City. So if you come beat me up, if we're on the subway and you beat me up, you go to jail. So you could, if you want to. Up to you. Whatever you feel. You can come on by. Whatever you feel. I live in Queens, Astoria. If you want to, come on by. But the point is, I'm going to keep saying what I want. And the fact that you would even consider trying to censor shows how scared you are. It shows how much you want the establishment to win, just like Kaitlan. You're hanging out with her. You like Kaitlan. I mean, she's kind of pretty, I guess. So I guess that's something. But she always looks mean. Like if she looks mean all the time now. I hope she's not. Maybe, I don't know if she has a boyfriend, girlfriend. I don't know what her orientation is. But if she has a lover, I hope she does to make herself happy. I hope she has a lover. I hope she's not mean to her lover. She looks mean, though. I hope she's not. So thank you for that. Lunatic, thank you for the $5. We make our food, not buy it. Yes. Or produce it. Produce outcome where I'm accountable. There, this is what you're saying is actually, it's really underrated. Preparing food really matters. We talked about this earlier this week with the idea of sitting down and having dinner or having lunch, having breakfast with your family, right? Breaking bread with your family. There's a second piece, Lunatic, we should bring up here. Making food with your family is also important. And my daughter and I often will make food together. When you start making your own food, look, I'm going to be very forward. What Kaitlan's saying is true. If you got a couple of kids, you got a couple of jobs, it's not easy to be out there making your own food. I get that. It's not easy to be making your own food. It takes time. It takes energy. If you get best food, it takes money. I'm with you. All I'm saying is to the best of your ability, whatever that is in your life, if you can spend some time making food with your family, you'll care about your food more. You're open to having ingredients. You'll share with your food. You'll bond with your family. Nothing but good. Lunatic, I am with you. I cook every day, usually with my daughter, sometimes not, but every day I'm with you. I prepare my own food. I prepare my family's food. I agree. You should to the best of your ability. You can't always. Now I'm lucky and unlucky. The unlucky part is I don't have a regular salary. So if I don't work, I don't get paid. The advantage I have though is I can set my own schedule. So if I want to make time to cook I can do so. You're working 9 to 5, you don't always have your own time. So it's harder for you. You got kids going to school, got to pick them up, drop them off. It becomes more challenging. I would say no matter what, wherever you are in life, try to move towards this would be my opinion. Obviously, you're under no obligation to follow my opinion, but my opinion would be try to move yourself as close as you can towards purchasing ingredients versus packaged food, towards making your food versus not. As close as you can get. But look, the realities of life are the realities of life. I have been in a place, without question. I've been in a place where I don't want to go into a store because I have no cash. I can't buy anything. So why bother going in? There's no way I can buy anything. Like I don't have any money. I've been there, right? And some people are there now. So I'm not sitting there trying to say, you need to. All I'm saying is try. IC says, knowledge is power. I'm a single mom of 2. Processed food is actually more expensive than home cooking, and I am frugal. Processed food was a treat in our house. See, I agree with you on that, IC. The issue is, depending upon where you live and what you do, it actually isn't the price of the food necessarily. It depends on the person where you live. It's also the time commitment. It's that too. Now, if you have kids where you can go with your kids, with your family, that makes it a whole lot better. Some people can't. So yeah, but I get your point completely. I do. I definitely get that. All right. Let's see here.
Mark Hyman's company has done it. Patrick Sonsing's company has done it. There are many, many apps out there that I use one called Yucca. That is my wife and I consider it invaluable. You can go into any grocery store, flash it at any product, and you can get a go or a no on it. And as that happens, the market, we're not trying to create a nanny state here. We're trying to drive market forces that will drive change in the kind of food Americans get. Through good information and good science.
In anticipation of this report, there was a lot of pushback from farmers, agricultural groups. I know you heard from some Republican senators up on Capitol Hill who are worried about what it would mean for pesticides, ones that have been approved already by the EPA. I want to get your response to what.
Yeah, approved by the EPA doesn't mean they work.
One Illinois farmer who is also the National Corn Growers Association president, Kenneth Hartman.
The National Corn Growers Association. Okay.
Jr. He told the Wall Street Journal, if the administration's goal is to bring more efficiency to government, then why is the Maha Commission duplicating efforts by raising questions about pesticides that have been answered repeatedly through research and reviews by the EPA?
There's nothing in this report that will worry the American farmer. The person who made that statement had never seen the report.
Look at that. He was just a person making statements. I love that. Lunatic goes on, thank you for $2. Preparing food or acquiring food is a skill set. Very true. I remember, going back to veterans, I was just in Michigan. And for those of you who know Michigan, there's a place in Michigan called the UP. The UP is known as the Upper Peninsula. It is that there's like a glove or whatever, and then above the glove, that's called the UP or the Upper Peninsula. I didn't know that till I was in the Marine Corps. I never heard it before. I was in New York. I didn't know Michigan. I couldn't have told you what was in Michigan. I knew Detroit was there. That's all I knew, right? But now I'm probably 19, 20 years old in the Marine Corps, and a buddy of mine is from the UP. He's in the Marine Corps with me. And he starts telling me, Lunatic, how he doesn't have to go to the store every week. I'm like, what? What do you mean? So I don't have to go to the store every week. Like, that blows my mind. Like, what are you talking about? You can't go of course you got to go to the store. You got to get your food and stuff. He's like, no, I don't have to. Guy owned a farm. Guy hunted out in the UP, which for those who know, the UP is very rural area of Michigan. It's right by the Canadian border, and it's very rural, right? So he wanted food. He just go out and hunt, come back with some food, right? Whatever, make his own food, get his own milk. He had well water. I mean, just do whatever he wanted, cooked, whatever, had chickens, he had everything he needed right there on his farm. He didn't have to go. to the store every week. And that blew my mind, but I respected it. Second thing that happened is he would say, when we were out, he could smell animals. Like he'd be, that's a chicken or whatever. Oh, that's deer. Like he could smell the animals. And I was like, damn, that's pretty impressive. So yeah, he grew up that way. He knew it. He had it. He was never worried. He went to Australia with like a backpack. Australia, where like everything in the land is made to kill you. And he was like, I ain't scared. He didn't care. He went out there. That guy was great. Love that guy. So anyway, yeah, I haven't talked to him in years. But yeah, I remember that. And terrible story he told me. He was older when he joined the military. He was older. And older meaning like 26, 25. That's old during the Marine Corps. Most people join at 16, 17, 18, 19. That's the most common, right? I was 17 when I joined. He was 25 when he joined. Older. I asked him why. I said, why the hell did you come into the Marine Corps? This is the story he tells me. He says he was out hunting, his wife. And his wife was like this is what he tells me. I'm telling you his story. I have no idea if it's true. I'm telling you the story he told me. He says his wife was like some kind of hippie guru type that he fell in love with. Loved her, brought her to the farm. She loved nature, all that kind of good stuff. So he goes out hunting. He would go outside for days. He'd come back. Comes back early from hunting one time. Opens the door. She's in there. The man, one of the hippie guru guys who came over like a yoga instructor or something. She's with a yoga instructor in the bed. He's carrying his firearm, his hunting firearm. He's carrying it. And he says, I'm going to count to 10. Anyone in this house, when I'm done, I'm killing. They ran out. He got divorced. She took everything. He joined the Marine Corps. Yes, she cheated on him. She took everything. His farm, everything. He lost everything in a divorce. Joined the Marine Corps. Terrible story, but yes, just let you guys might enjoy that. That's the kind of stuff I heard about. So yeah. Ryan, thank you for the $5. I had a food allergy when I was younger. My mother had to watch what I would eat like a hawk. Yes, food allergies are tough. My youngest has one. Yes, my youngest does. My oldest is not. My youngest does. It is a problem. Yes. All right. Daniel's mad. Daniel, I don't know why you're mad at me. You can be mad if you want to. I'm happy you're here. Keep talking. I'm happy you're here. Please stay. Don't leave. Please stay. I like that. All right, let me see it. If I can grab some more of these, if I can. Kim says microplastics across the placenta. Ooh, I didn't know that. That makes sense, though. I mean, it does make sense because across the brain-blood barrier, right? Brain, yeah. So it makes sense. But I didn't. Yeah, I didn't know that. So yes. All righty. Let's see here. John says, lunatic libertarian, our local American Legion does a gun salute at a memorial in a small town every year at 1 o'clock. Oh, that's sweet. I appreciate that. That is sweet. Yes. All right, keep going down here if we can.
So you won't reverse anything that EPA has approved?
Listen, we consider, and I said this during the 2.5 years that I was running for president, there's no farmers in this country are in trouble. You know, and I met with farmers in Texas and the Midwest.
Everywhere.
This week, and they consistently told me 7 out of every 10 years, we are losing money. If we lose the farmers, the Maha agenda is bankrupt. We need the farmers as partners.
And this piece I want to bring up, a lot of people think Maha is all about the jab. It's not. It is about that. It's about medical freedom. It is. But it's not all about that. It is about food too. And people who cared about the jab were very concerned that, oh my God, he's going to ignore, he's going to so-and-so. He's not ignoring. It's just not one thing. It's many things. And that's the issue. It is many things. To include the jab, also food. He's right. Regenerative farming was a huge piece when it came to his campaign. Absolutely a huge piece. Yes, absolutely. Superwoman says, Larry, I was rewatching Jarhead the other day, and that story reminded me so much of the Desert Storm Marine stories Anthony writes about. Yeah. Jarhead was a decent movie. It was a good movie. That's the war I was in during that time. Yes. Lunatic says he should not have counted. He should not have counted. I don't know where you're going with that, Lunatic. Thank you for $2, my friend. I don't know where you're going with that one. I didn't check that one out. Matt says, I buy ingredients. Yes. Absolutely. Yes. 100%. Yes. Kim, thank you for being a member. Just take the toxins out. Take the chemicals out. Every ingredient should be mandated, listed on the label. No more. Oh, I like that. No more. Yeah, grass is generally regarded as safe, right? Did I get that right? Grass generally regarded as safe. Yes, that's true. Yes, absolutely. So, all righty. Matt says, is Daniel the autism tirade guy? He only shows up on RFK streams. Yeah, maybe he's mad. I don't know. He likes to yell and scream. I don't mind. Glad he shows up. Keep coming. Daniel, don't stop and share. Let people know. Let people know how dumb I am. I don't mind. All good. I take everybody. I'm not. And if anyone's seen me doing live events and seen me go on left-leaning shows, oh, I get roasted all the time. Yeah, my skin is much thicker than one might think. Much thicker than one might think. Yes. Sarah, thank you so much. Gifted a Sharpe membership. Guys, please, if you can become a member, it does matter. Remember our rules. If you make $2 million or more per month, you may not take Sarah's membership. If you make $2 million per month or more, you got to pay the full boat, $4.99. Don't be cheap. You make $2 million. If you make less than $2 million a month, you may take the Sharpe membership. So thank you for that, Sarah. I appreciate that. Guys, if you guys just want to take your own membership, you can. Please do so if you want to. It is $4.99 per month. Click that join button on YouTube. It'd be amazing if you can. If you either already are one or can't do that, here's what you can do. You can subscribe. Yes, you can. To Sharpe Way YouTube and select all notifications so you're notified. So you get notified. And then next time Daniel comes on, you can chat with him if you want to. See how good that is? But no matter what, you can share and repost this. That is free. And click the button known as like. If you have not yet, it's because you hate the children. That's what I'm saying. It's true. Yes. So please do that. I appreciate that. All righty.
We need to keep them in business. We don't want to put a single farmer out of business. What we want to do is create incentives and innovation to allow them to innovate themselves, to use less chemical intensive, but we're not a nanny state. We're not going to coerce people. We're not going to tell them what to do. We're going to give them the opportunity. And we found in the farm community that that the majority of farmers, they are the original environmentalists. They want to produce healthy food. And
very true. That piece is critical. That's why I said farm table matters. Oh, okay. I'm looking at what Daniel wrote. Okay. I was wondering, Liberty Lady just gave time out for Daniel. Usually I don't ask anyone to be timed out at all. They yell at me. Daniel yelled at Matt and called him an MFer. Guys, if you are going to insult me, it's fine. I'm here. I'm taking it. It's fine. I'm not going to ban you for that. I push you away. I have lots of people come and yell at me. I don't mind. You need to be good to the people who are here. You can say they're wrong. You can say they're incorrect. You can attack their arguments all day long. But if you're going to be nasty to each other, that's not what we do here, right? And I know people have just wrote me, you know who I'm talking to, just wrote me asking me about maybe I should be more bloody on that, more blood sport. But that's not what I want, right? I don't want a blood sport. I don't want blood sport here. You can get that anywhere. You can get that anywhere. There's lots of places you can go. And the second you don't like something, you just start calling them names, dropping F-bombs, all that kind of stuff, right? I see it all the time. Please, if you want to insult me, it's fine. That's why I'm here. I put myself out here. I know what I did. I'm volunteering to do this. I don't have to do this. I'm volunteering. So if you want to, it's fine. But if you're talking to each other, and again, say you're wrong. Call them totally off base, whatever. It's fine. No worries. But you start doing some of the stuff that I saw Daniel just do he threatened somebody else. He threatened me. I just did it publicly. But he threatened somebody else. Unacceptable. And called them a name. Unacceptable. You can threaten me and call me a name. It's fine. And by the way, Daniel, I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid. You can come if you want to. You can come if you want to. Here's what I would ask you. If you're going to start something, understand it will be finished. Just understand that. One way or another, if you start something, understand that it will be finished. That's all I'm saying. You do as you see fit, as you like. But understand that. I said it because I'm selfish. That's why I say that, because I'm selfish. I want to feel good about what happens if something happens. That's all. Ryan says, Larry, my aunt and uncle died of cancer 13 years apart. They lived next to corn and soybean crops in Paynton, Missouri. The crops were constantly sprayed with pesticides. Yeah. There was a concern about that on Long Island too, a similar issue. There was something on Long Island with the water. Pesticides going in the water, same concepts. I have heard these types of stories so many times. So many times. People spend so much time in these areas, right? You see it also in other poor areas. You're talking about poor areas. A lot of the poorer areas have industrial areas next to them. Industrial areas use all kind of chemicals, goes into the water, and the people drink the water, and you'll get sick. Yes, it's a problem. Ryan, I completely agree. And many people don't think, again, because of their of where they grew up, they don't think to boil the water or to go buy, or they can't afford to go buy bottled water, or they don't think to filter the water. They don't think about any of that stuff. They don't. Now, the great thing about what Bobby Kennedy Jr. is doing is, even if you disagree with him, at least people are thinking about it now. They're thinking about it now. And that's way better than in the past, right? Even if you don't agree with them, it's fine. You're thinking about it. That's what matters. So yes, absolutely. All righty. Lunatic talk is some trash. Okay. I was being nice in what I said, Lunatic. I was being nice. He says to Daniel, you can see me whenever you want. I encourage individuals like you to be acquired by the earth through natural selection. That was a nice way of saying, okay, maybe that was nice. That was nice. I thought mine was nicer, but they're both nice. Both nice. All good. Yes.
To give them the ability to do that, and the economic incentives and the technology we already have healthy food. We need to produce the best food that we can possibly, and continue to do that.
You mentioned your presidential run.
True.
And some farmers may look at that and be skeptical of what you're saying, because you made comments.
Skeptical. Okay. You think this guy, now you can disagree with him. I get it. Think he's wrong, whatever. But you think this guy, all the stuff he went through, all the stuff this guy went through, all the stuff this guy's working on, he doesn't believe any of it? He's not trying. That's why he's getting beat up by you on CNN, because he's not a true believer. The years he went to court and fought, that's just, he's just a grifter.
It's like saying that you could weaponize the other agencies against chemical agriculture by doing good science on the chemicals that you say are poisoning us, high fructose corn syrup, and it's linked to the obesity epidemic.
So he's laughing at this.
So if they're worried, you're going to weaponize other agencies against them.
And that's, processed food. And I think we've all agreed that processed food is not a good thing for human health.
Look, the reality of it is, and for those of you who know, the small farmer doesn't want to be a Monsanto farmer. They have to survive. You may go, well, then Larry, they're bad. Well, then they lose their farm. That's how it works in many places. The big farms, they're happy to Monsanto. They don't care. They don't care. Doesn't matter. They're making tons of cash. They don't care. The smaller farms would rather not be if they could. They'd rather not be. But sometimes it becomes the only way to keep your farm. You may go, well, they should sell their farm then. To the big farm, who becomes the Monsanto farmer? And why should they have to sell their farm? Right? It's terrible. It's a valid point. We don't take anything for the $5. Larry, you and I can train millions. That's hard. Can they survive the training? Well, that's what training's for. Weed out the weed. No. See, no, we don't agree on that one. The training is not to weed out the weak. No. It is to build up the weak. It's to weed out the unfit. There's a difference. Remember, it is not survival of the strongest. It's survival of the fittest, which is the person who can adapt the most. So you might be weak now, but with training, you won't be weak anymore. I don't want to weed out the weak, the unfit, those who will not get better, those who choose not to get better, those who don't want it. Weed those out. But the person who's actually weak but is hungry and wants to get better, all in. All in. Remember, this is something that people should understand. The most zealous are the converted. So let's modify that, lunatic. I'm going to modify it. I'm not going to weed out the weak, weed out the unfit. But we embrace the weak who want to change. We embrace the weak who want to get better. Embrace them. Jump on board. Let's do it. Lunatic says, okay, you got me. Yeah, there we go. Yes, we want to embrace them. Yes, I want them. They're the good ones. Absolutely. So IC says, all these works with farmers who don't use specific pesticides. Yes, and all these are German company. So yeah, absolutely. It's true. You're right.
And that we're driving a diabetes epidemic. Kaitlan, when I was a kid, my uncle was president. the average pediatrician at that time saw one case of juvenile diabetes in his lifetime over a 40 or 50-year career.
Yep.
Today, 38% of teens are diabetic or pre-diabetic.
Terrible.
And 1 out of every 3 kids who walks through his office door has that. And it's costing us $1 trillion a year just for that kind of mitochondrial dysfunction. It's bankrupting our country. It's making it 75% of American kids can't qualify for military service.
Let me ask you about something.
Now, every time he makes a good point, she never says, that's a good point. She just goes, change subject. Change subject. Yeah, it's different. So, yes. All righty. Let's see here. A lunatic says he counted to 10. They were not around. True. You remember that's my story. True. They were gone. Correct. He counted to 10. They were gone. Yes. And then she took everything. So, yes. Finally, Libertarian asked the question, glyphosate isn't carcinogenic. I actually don't know. I believe you. It doesn't even affect the biochemical process that humans have. 99.9% of pesticides are derived from plant sources. What toxins specifically? Plant sources doesn't necessarily mean it's healthy. Lots of plants are poisonous or harmful to us. They aren't all good for us. I'm not saying that you are incorrect. All I'm saying is the fact that it's derived from a plant source doesn't make it toxic or not toxic. Tons of plants are not toxic and tons of plants are toxic. So I don't think that piece, I don't think matters in this case. I don't know if glyphosates are actually carcinogenic or not. All I know is the more chemicals that people have around them, they seem to get cancer a whole lot faster. Now, does that mean a specific chemical causes cancer? I don't know. I think some have. I think some are known as carcinogenic. I think some are. And the other piece is at least we have someone who's in HHS who's actually trying to do it, who isn't connected directly to cash coming from big business. If he comes back and says, hey, my people who are all ideologues who hate big business and hate, they don't hate all big business, who hate big pharma and hate big ag. I think that's accurate. They don't hate all big business. But who hate big pharma and hate big ag, if they also agree with you, scientific libertarian, I think it might be a good deal. I'm okay with this push no matter what. Again, I don't know if he's 100% right. I don't. And I'm okay. I'm totally okay with this push. I'm totally okay with us thinking about it for ourselves. I'm totally okay with this, a push for people to stop using pesticides, to eat organic, to care about what they make, as Lunatic says, to make your own food. I'm totally happy with this. This is a good deal. Let's move down this road. That people eating less processed food. Here's what I'm sure of. Eating fresh, natural food is going to be better than eating processed food. What is my basis for that, scientific libertarian? I see all the people who die at 50, they're all eating processed food. I see the people I know, particularly those who are wealthy, who live till they're 80, 90, or 100, they don't eat processed food. That's it. And you might think that's not good enough. It's good enough for me. That's what I would tell you. You can tell me I'm wrong. I don't mind. That's good enough for me. I see it everywhere. And again, I live in New York City. I see very wealthy people. I see very poor people. And I see what they're eating. I'm in the stores with them. I see them. I see what they're eating. Yes. So, all righty. Joe says, when I was in Syria, the government couldn't get us food, just water and ammo. Well, here we go. We were given cash advances, so we bought chickens, goats, and bartered with local refugees daily to survive. Food security is crucial. Now, that's an issue. You're right, Joe. Food security is an issue. That's true. Not starvation. There's a difference. So, yes, but you're right. But I bet if you had water and you're buying goats and chickens, you're in the military. Every unit that I've ever been, I've been in many units, every unit has at least one dude who knows how to slaughter an animal. At least one. Some got 10, 20 dudes who know how to slaughter an animal. Many of them do, right? So I can't think of one unit I was ever in where there wasn't at least one dude who knew exactly how to slaughter an animal. So you buy a couple chickens, a couple goats, they're getting slaughtered, cut up, butchered. They're fine. They know how to butcher them. It's fine. So there's always someone who knows to do this. Yes, absolutely. So anyway, thank you for that, Joe. I appreciate that. But they knew, right? The government knows that if you just say, here's money, don't steal from the local people, barter and buy, Marines, soldiers, we're having fresh meat, right? Someone's going to know how to slaughter. Someone's going to know how to butcher. Someone's going to know how. And in fact, if you don't, if for some reason you didn't know, I mean, I can't imagine the unit doesn't know, but if there was one, you pay those guys. You say, hey, slaughter it for me, cut it up for me, butcher for me. They would do it, throw them some extra cash. They would do it anyway, but I can't imagine someone not knowing how. Not in any, Not in the unit I've been in. I mean, maybe nowadays. You know what? Maybe nowadays it's true. I haven't been in the military in decades. Maybe nowadays there's less people who know, but I still can't imagine it. I can't imagine it. Yeah. Gray says, cut out the processed carbs and you're on your way to a healthier life. True. True. Look, do I want everyone to be keto? Yes, because keto is magic. But that's okay. You don't have to be. But the more you get rid of those processed carbs, the better you're going to be. I agree completely. Yes, I agree completely. That's right. So thank you for that. Yes. All righty. See if I can go down here. Kim says, I'm looking for off-grid property, and I watch for farms close by high power lines. Oh, interesting. Okay, it's interesting. All right.
You said when you were on Capitol Hill this week, you were asked about the lead crisis in Milwaukee schools.
Mm-hmm.
You told Congress, quote, we have a team on the ground in Milwaukee. The city said that's not true and that they are still not getting the help that they want from the CDC. Do you know who is on the ground? Who
The
were you under the impression
CDC is
was on the
giving them
ground?
assistance with their labs, their analytics, and advice.
They just said one technician was on the ground.
I can't tell you how many are on the ground in the city of Milwaukee, but I can tell you we are there.
So again, she's like, okay, let me find one thing where I can say you're wrong. This city in this case said this thing, you're wrong. Note again, she is trying to find when he's wrong. That is her goal. I brought that up early on, didn't I? Right? She wants to be able to say he said this and he's wrong on what he said, meaning he's a liar. Not that what he's saying isn't true, right? Not that what he's doing isn't valuable, but that he's a liar. This is a way to discredit and dismiss. Remember, left dismisses. The right distracts, the left dismisses. She's trying to get him to say, well, he said that, he didn't. He's really a liar. You can't trust him. Everything he says is wrong.
But you don't know how many.
I can't tell you how many right now.
So, I mean, this is from the Milwaukee Health Commission.
And she pushes it. So you can't tell me that? Got you. Push.
Commissioner and Senator Tammy Baldwin. Yeah.
You could read my other exchanges with Tammy Baldwin. And, anyway, I'm not necessarily believing what Senator Baldwin
So you're
is.
disputing and saying that there are more than one.
It's important. Remember, she says this. You're saying this. I got to call you a liar.
Like I said, we have 62,000 employees. I'm not sure how many we have deployed to Milwaukee. I'm happy to check and give you that information.
And are you committed to helping with the schools there? Because obviously they're having a real issue with this, and say
of course,
it's really affecting
I've been working on lead in the schools including in Milwaukee, for 40 years. It is a crisis in our country. 44% of Black youth in our municipalities have dangerous levels of lead in their blood.
Think about that. Now, my governor, who's a Democrat, who tells me she cares about Black kids, she tells me this. She does tell me this. I'm not making this up. She tells me this. She's concerned about Black kids who don't know what a computer is. She said that. And she says Black kids in New York don't know how to swim. She's going to focus on teaching Black kids how to swim. I wish I was making this up. She literally said that. What's she talking about? 40% have too much lead in them. Why isn't my governor talking about that? You know why? Can't get paid off that. You can't get paid off of bringing in consultants to teach Black kids computers, whatever that means. And you can't get paid when you actually give your jobs off to your construction companies, your cronies, to build a bunch of swimming pools in Black neighborhoods that won't be used. But they'll get built and get paid to be built. So you get paid. Those are grifters.
And that is crippling them for a lifetime, potentially. So it's an issue that is foremost on my mind. It's a high priority, and it's something we'll continue to be involved with.
Okay. And we're talking.
Someone who actually cares about Black kids. And what's the response? Okay, something else. Not going, that's nice. Well done. No credit. Anything he's done, zero credit. Change subject quickly so we can dismiss it. Remember, dismissive. Dismiss it quickly. And then now can we get to this thing where I can call you a liar?
About the big release of this report today. The next report that you've said that you'll produce is in September, when you want to determine the cause of autism. Do you still plan to know the cause of autism?
The dietary guidelines come out in August, and the second stage of this report also comes out in August.
Okay, so that's in August. No,
she's just being very specific on times. very specific on when. Why? She wants to call him a liar. I wish I was joking, but yes, it's a liar. She's trying to call him a liar. So yes. So here we go.
Would be in September when you said that you would be able to determine what the cause of autism is. Is that still the timeline that you are sticking with?
We will have some studies completed by September. And those studies will mainly be replication studies of studies that have already been done. We're also deploying new teams of scientists, 15 groups of scientists. We're going to send those grants out to bid.
There we go.
Within 3 weeks.
Why would you replicate studies that have been done?
Because the only way you can get good science is through replication. If you don't.
Isn't that, she goes, why would you read? They did one experiment. It went perfectly well. Why would you replicate it? Because you don't trust it and you want to make sure it happens again. So yeah, absolutely. Ryan says, not trying to virtue signal here, but Kaitlan is so annoying. She is, which is why I used to say, I don't know why she has a job, but now I know why, because she knows how to get people to look like they're lying. That's her skill set. I didn't know. I mean, she's not good she's not good at being a journalist. I mean, whatever that means. She's not good at that. I agree with you, but she is good at going, oh, clearly I'm going to condescend to you because you're a liar. She's very condescending, which is the goal of CNN, right? As Grace mentioned, the goal of CNN is to be condescending. She's that. And to get people to be looked upon as liars and to ignore anything good. She's kind of good at that, Ryan, which is annoying. Unless like she's beating someone up here's the point. If you're a Democrat and you're watching CNN, you hate RFK Jr. now because he's a traitor, right? He's the reason why Kamala Harris isn't president or whatever whatever lie you've told yourself, right? So anytime you can beat him up or call him a liar, I feel good about myself now. See, I was right the whole time. Again, people watch this so they make themselves feel good. That's the issue. So yes. All right. Let's see here. Son of a Turin says, what? That's not true at all. Only 0.35% of kids have juvenile diabetes. Is that true? 0.3. Okay, well, hold on. If there's 100 million kids, is that about, you know what? Now you make me think. All right, hold on. Now you're making me think. Is that true? Hold on. Now you got me thinking. Now you got me thinking. All right. According to Google, there's about 300,000 kids with diabetes, give or take. Yeah, that's what it says here. So that's not much. I don't know how many that is. Yeah. That's what it says. Type 2 diabetes has been increasing in recent years, particularly in adolescents, Hispanics, and Asian children. That's kind of sad. People are going. So yes. Let's see. Yep, that's what she said. That's what Google says. Yes. So yeah, 35 out of 10,000 youths have diabetes. But what he said is pre-diabetes. So let me see what that is. That's what he said in the past. He might have said this time, but he's always said that or pre-diabetes. He said that they're either diabetic or pre-diabetic. So let's see here. Wow. Okay, that changed everything. Yes. Now, when we look at pre-diabetes, which is what he might have said that, but what he always says is who are either diabetic or pre-diabetic, that shoots up. That is now 1 in 5. I think that's what he meant when he said that, because in the past he has said diabetic or pre-diabetic. That's what he said in the past. I don't know what he said here, but I've heard many of his speeches. He always says diabetic or pre-diabetic. Once you go pre-diabetic, it's 1 in 5. So yes, I think you're correct. Actually diagnosed with diabetes, it's less than 1%. That's true. Pre-diabetic, it's about 20%. That's a huge chunk, dude. That's a lot. So, and pre-diabetic is pretty bad. But yeah. Anyway, just want to make sure that was clear. I think we have some clarity on that. Either way, bad, but I think there's clarity on that. There we go. All righty. IC says most pesticides / fertilizer are synthetic. They no longer use a natural form. All right. Now you guys, then you're making me look stuff up now because I got scientific lieutenant telling me that things are wrong, and I got you guys. Hold on. All right. All righty. According to Google, IC is correct. The majority of fertilizers are synthetic. So scientific, unless Google's wrong, and it might be, I think IC's got you on that one. Just saying. That's the issues. So pre-diabetic, 20%. And again, I don't know if I wasn't paying attention specifically to this, but all I'm saying is if he said are diabetic, he misspoke because he always says, well, always, every time I've heard him, he says diabetic or pre-diabetic. And 1 in 20 are pre-diabetic. So that's a big deal.
Of replication, you don't know whether other scientists looking at the same data will arrive at the same conclusion. Good science always includes replication. In fact, we're changing the procedures at NIH so that up to 20% of the funding at NIH is for replication. If you don't have replication, you have incentives to cheat.
It's true.
And there's a lot of cheating that goes on in science.
Okay, but some people might dispute that, but looking at your...
Some people might dispute that. Come on. That's dumb. She just wants to support the establishment. That's what, if you notice any time I interview somebody, even when I disagree, I try to not be condescending unless they're attacking me first. And not just that. I don't try to defend the establishment. I let the person talk. So yeah. And she doesn't. She just continues to attack. So yes. Here, Morgan says RFK's court case against Monsanto. Right there. So let's check it out. The killer. Yep. IC says Monsanto settled a cancer case as a result of pesticide exposure. Glyphosate isn't natural and is used in the spy/corn liberally. Well, there we go. I don't know. People disagree with you, scientific libertarian. They disagree with you. So you were right on the diabetic thing, but not on pre-diabetic, which again, he might have misspoken. I'm not sure either. I should have paid more attention to that, but I didn't because I just heard it so many times. So yeah.
April 10th comments when you were inside the cabinet meeting, you said by September, we will know what has caused the autism epidemic and we'll be able to eliminate those exposures.
We'll have some of the information to get the most solid information.
Again, Kim, this is my point. I know you're going to be upset, Kim, but this is my point. He's already backing off of his September timeline. He said September, he's backing off. Why? Could he do it by September? Of course he could. They're already sandbagging him. To my point. He said September. And when he said it, I was like, it ain't September. Whatever he says, he'll do it. I agree with you, Kim. He'll do it. Not in a time frame. Because the only thing the deep state can do is delay him. That's the power they have, is delaying him. And then CNN will call him a liar. And they're working together. Clearly, she absolutely defends the establishment. So that's what they'll do. So while I think you're right, he'll do it. He ain't gonna make September. He already said it. Just like when Trump said, and remember when Trump said, I'm gonna end the war by January. I was like, he's not doing that. He might end the war, not by January. Remember, deep state has one strength: delay, delay, delay. They're gonna be here forever. Permanent Washington stays there for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. These guys are here for 4. So their goal is to wait them out. This is their tactic, Kim. That's why every time they go, this time I go, nope. And I don't have to know what it is. I just know it's no. So that he says 60 days, nope. He says September, nope. Now he might do it, but they will delay and delay and delay. And we see it already happening right now with the September number. He's backing out right now.
It will probably take us another 6 months.
Okay,
there we
so
go.
Parents should not expect to know what causes autism by September.
We'll see. We're going to, as I said, we're going to replicate some of the studies that have already been done that look like sound studies. And we'll know a lot from those. And then we'll know a lot more afterward.
But not the definitive answer by September. Just to be clear, because it matters.
What those replicable studies show.
Okay. And then what do you expect to happen 6 months?
Scientific says processed food, that's the steps after it's harvested. It has nothing to do with how it's planted or cultivated. I'm not sure where you're going with that one. Generally speaking, what this is called is UPF, which is ultra processed food. The problem is there's no actual definition of that. I mean, there is, but it's what people use. There's no universal definition of that. Generally speaking, the more a food is processed, the further it gets from nature. This is not a 100% rule, but it's a general rule. The more nutrients that come out of it, and the less valuable it is, or even perhaps even harmful for your body because you've got to add extra stuff to it. Now, you may not believe that. That's absolutely true. As a general rule, there are always exceptions, to be clear, but general rule. So if you want to be healthier, you should, generally speaking, eat more food that's closer to nature than food that's gone through 80,000 processes. And I think most people would agree with that. Maybe you don't, but I think most people would agree with that. So yes. Super Weapon says, I need whatever diet William Shatner's on. True. That guy's like 90 something now and still like hanging out at shows. Captain Kirk is like immortal. Whatever he's on, I'm gonna copy him. He might just have good genes though. Joe says, lol, I was the farm boy doing it. There we go. There's always one, Joe. There's always at least one. Sometimes many. I knew there's always one. It's how it works. Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. So Ryan says, cut out the processed carbs, eat at KFC. Look, let's be clear. I said KFC was the least carby. I didn't say KFC was healthy. I did not say that. I said it was the least carby of the fried chickens. I did not say it was healthy. I didn't say that. That's all I'm saying. I didn't say that.
After that, you mentioned something else.
I expect we will know the answers of the etiology of autism.
Okay, so that timeline is moving from September to 6 months
As
after
I said,
September.
we're going to begin to have a.
She keeps pushing my time. Remember, what she's pushing him on is your timeline so I can call you a liar. Now, at least if scientific libertarian disagrees with him, he's actually bringing up data, right? Scientific libertarians say, oh, no, he's wrong because this is wrong. He's bringing up data, which is a valid argument. Again, you can go back and forth. She's doing that. She's not doing what scientific libertarian is doing. She's just going, okay, so you said this, right? And then you didn't mean that. You said this, right? Yeah, absolutely. IC says, they were having issues with lead in the schools for years. Why is RFK responsible all of a sudden? Because he said something, IC. See, if he just would have shut up and said nothing, then we could just keep poisoning the kids and no one's responsible. But he went up there, opened up his big mouth. Now he's in trouble. He's never going to get those damn. How's he going to get those damn lobbying dollars? I see he's messing up. Okay, he's going to get his wife back out there working because they got to pay some bills. Phil says, so what you're saying is something you're not saying. True. That's correct. Yes, absolutely true. 100%. So Phil says, people in their housing projects are dying of acute lead poisoning, especially since the pandemic. True? Yes.
A lot of information by September. We're not going to stop the studies in September. We're going to be definitive. And the more definitive you are, the more it drives public policy.
Okay, so that would put us at what, March next year? You say you'll know the cause of it?
As I said, it's about 6 months after September. A lot of these studies will begin coming back.
You also said something recently when you were on.
Okay, you also said you're a liar, right? Yes, you're a liar, right? Morgan says it. Gotcha journalism. Science isn't science if it can't be replicated. True. And what do you do in school when you're studying science up front? You do a bunch of experiments that are supposed to all end the same way, right? Because if it's science, it's supposed to always end the same way. And if it doesn't, okay, is the science wrong or did you do something wrong? You recheck it and see if you can keep copying it. Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Capitol Hill, and you were being asked about vaccines and whether or not you would recommend them for people out in the United States. And you said that people should not take medical advice from you. You are the HHS secretary, though, and your job is to create guidance and to talk about vaccines and medical testing. Why should people not take medical advice from you?
This is a great point. And watch what he says on this one. Let me keep going. Phil says she's good looking. She's a good looking woman. No doubt she is. And again, I hope if she has a partner, I don't know if she's married or has a boyfriend or girlfriend. I don't know her orientation, if she's gay or not, but I hope if she has a partner, she doesn't look like this face to her partner. I hope this is just her professional condescending face and not her, partner face. I hope not. So yeah. Mana Thread says, I can't stand her or any of CNN. CNN is the one I hate the most, but there are two people I say all the time who I like on CNN. Two I bring up, and I bring up always. Michael Smirkanis, the Saturday morning show, and Fareed Zakaria, Sunday morning show. Generally speaking, Fareed Zakaria is more international, and Michael Smirkanis is more domestic, generally speaking. And their data is almost always correct. Their outlook isn't always correct. Or their answers aren't always correct. Fareed is very establishment. I mean, super establishment. But if he tells you this is happening, he's not lying. His data is correct. his answer is always, hey, Mr. Establishment, can you tell me what the establishment should do? Let's do that. Now, Smerconish is a bit left-leaning and also a bit establishment, but nowhere near. Smerconish is the fairest guy on CNN. Now, that bar is not very high, minor threat, but he does get over that bar, right? It's a low bar, but he gets over it. If you want someone you can stand, Smerconish is your guy. He is the least biased of CNN. So again, low bar, but he absolutely gets over it. So that's where I see it. So yes. Cage John says, watching her is spiking my blood pressure. I haven't seen this much CNN in 20 years. She's a snob. That's true. She really is a snob. 100%. Phil says, he said pre-diabetes and type 2 as well. There we go. Yes. So for that one, Scientific Libertarian, he did say an accurate piece. He was accurate. It's 1 in 4, 1 in 5 when it comes to pre-diabetes and diabetes. That is accurate. That piece is true. So yes. All right, and keep going down here if I can.
Probably shouldn't take medical advice from any HHS secretary. Very few of the HHS secretaries historically, I think maybe 10 or 20%, 15% have been doctors.
Note is that they kept screaming about HHS and everybody else. What kind of qualifications does he have? Blah, blah. Most aren't even doctors. Yeah. It's a political post. It is. Yes. P says, thank you for the $5, Peace. Wow, I wasn't sure if I was on a Jerry Springer show for a second. Maybe I attracted the wrong people to your show, lol. You are love. Like, oh, because Daniel's screaming? Yeah, Daniel's screaming. It's fine. It's fine. People make it mad at me. It's fine. I signed up for this.
Oh, people were asking me, I was responding to a question about my personal health choices. And I said, that's not relevant because people should not make their decisions based upon my personal health choices. We have an infrastructure. We have an advisory committee on immunization practices that makes recommendations. It's a group of scientists that looks at reams of data, and that's where our recommendations come from, not from an individual.
But
it's time, one of the big mistakes that you and many other of the media.
Now she's mad. He says, many mistakes that you and your media, and how dare you? I am CNN. I am perfect. I am a god. Go ahead.
Colleagues made during COVID is to try to convince the American people that they should trust the experts.
Yep.
Trusting the experts is not a feature of science. It's not a feature of democracy. It's a feature of religion and totalitarianism. What we should do is trust the science. And we are going to do the science, and the science is going to be replicable, and it's going to be gold standard so that parents can make their own choices about what is best for them.
There we go. Parents can make the best choices. Yes. Ryan, for $5, he goes, it's entertaining when Kaitlan gets into it with Caroline Levitt. It's entertaining. She tries the same stuff with Caroline, and I don't like Caroline. Yeah, but that's her way. Her way is condescending, call people liars. That's what it is. It's almost like a lawyer, right? And I see it that's why I know this. I see it in lawyers, right? Lawyers always try to discredit a witness. So they always try to get the witness to lie, right? That's it, to show they lied, discredit the witness. And then they tell the jury, couldn't tell you this or that. Why would you trust them on this other thing? It's a common tactic used, right? You discredit your witness. You dismiss your witness. Yes.
Their family and their health.
But I think people, the message was to trust the science and what studies were finding and what
during COVID.
Saying.
The message would not trust the science. That's a lie. She's saying that. Oh, I'm starting up. You know what? Maybe she's writing this one. Because you remember what His Eminence, St. Fauci said. He did say, I am the science. He did say that. He did. I am the Senate. I am the state. I am the science. So I guess in a way she's right because he was the science. Trust him. So I guess roundabout, yes.
That was a bad message. It was trust the experts. That's what you kept telling us. Trust the experts.
I don't know that I ever said that.
Oh,
I mean, we talked to the officials. Actually,
your
during
network
COVID,
was saying it every day.
We took the briefings live every day.
Okay. Kaitlan, this is a hill you don't want to die on. You don't want to die on this hill. This is one you don't want to die on. CNN was terrible during the lockdowns. I mean, in every way, shape, and form, CNN was terrible. There was not one good thing. They literally had a death counter up, a daily death counter up to help scare people. I wish I was joking. I'm not. And those you remember who aren't mentally scarred from that literally happened. They were terrible. And I mean, horrible. Yes. Don't die on this hill, Kaitlan. Walk away. I know you want to defend your people. Walk away. Just do it.
With all of the experts that President Trump, those were President Trump's doctors.
Those were President Trump's doctors. That makes it okay. She's smiling. See, I got you. They were President Trump's doctors. But still, he said trust the science, meaning RFK trusts the science. You said trust the experts. He goes, well, no. We trust the science. And then goes, well, they were President Trump's doctors. They were the experts that he didn't believe. Okay. For those of you who don't know, RFK Jr. wrote a book how bad St. Fauci is, called The Real Fauci. He wrote a book on how bad he is. That's the expert. Yeah, that's it. That's all I'm saying. So anyway, all right. Peace Logic says, a couple of days ago, one of my friends told me I need to find new friends, referring RFK Jr. I find that rude. I haven't replied back. It's a whole thing to talk to this friend. I'm the punching bag. I get that all the time. I'm with you, Peace. I find people who just think, they assume that if I don't believe them and think like they think, that I am by default part of a cult. By default. Oh, you don't believe how I believe, you're in a bubble. I'm in a bubble. That's how they think. Because if you weren't in a bubble, clearly you think exactly how I think, because I'm clearly right in every way, shape, or form. So therefore, if you don't think the way I think, you're in a bubble. Not that you maybe have different information, you have a different background, you have a different thought process. No. Different value system. No. If you don't think the way I think, Peace, it's because you're in a bubble. That's how a lot of people think. I'm with you. And I get that all the time. I agree. It's terrible. So, yes. Kim says, all they can do is dog it for not being on time. They are weak and petty. Both of those things are true. Yes, you're right. And that's my point. That's how I know it. They are literally weak and petty. True. And that's how they get around it. Yes. That's the tactic they use.
The people President Trump brought out to the briefings.
Oh, President Trump brought, and I can.
He brought Dr. Fauci and Dr.
Verse, I can tell you what President Trump did right and what President Biden did wrong.
There we go. Mastermind says, my dad lost a third of a lung to Roundup. I know a lot of people who sued because of Roundup. A lot of people did. Yeah, it's true. Christine says, Kaitlan Collins is a horrible person. She does seem that way, which is why I'm saying I'm hoping that if she has a lover, that she's not that way with that person. I hope. Yeah. Chrissy says, CNN is condescending. People like Laura Loomer, who is somewhat close to Trump. She's very close to Trump. She's been trying to get rid of RFK Jr. Now she's going after Secretary Stephanie. The hate is coming from both sides. True. Remember, there is an issue in the Republican Party that isn't as bad in the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party has much more of an iron fist than the Republican Party has. Much more of one. They both have iron fists, but the Democratic Party is much stronger iron fist. You really got to stay in line, Democratic Party. Republican Party has a big problem because it has it's become a big tent party, and it wasn't ready for that. Christy, you're correct. It was not prepared for it at all. So now all of a sudden, a Republican Party, which is not a big tent party, Republican Party, which is not a working class party, is now filled with working class voters. So what do when you're not a working class party, but you're filled with working class voters? What do you do when you're not an open tent party, when you got a massive open tent? So you got people who are establishment who hate Trump and hate Kennedy. People who are MAGA who hate establishment and hate Kennedy. People who are Kennedy who hate Trump and hate establishment. So you got three people that, and if you throw on top of that, the type of techno bro type group that jumped on board, the cryptocurrency people, they hate everybody too. So now the Republican Party has 3 or 4 factions that don't like each other. You're right. The hate comes from all over. It's true. It's a problem. And the way it survives is only one thing right now. The Republican Party is literally Iraq in 1990. Yes. Why did Iraq stay together? Or Yugoslavia in 88, 87, right? Held together by one personality. Held together by Tito in Yugoslavia. Held together by Hussein in Iraq. Well, this is held together by Trump. If Trump goes away, this falls apart. It's held together by the force of will of one person. Yes, I wish that wasn't true, but it is. Your point's a valid one. Your point is a valid one. Absolutely. So, all right, let me grab this if I could. Hold on. Sarah, thank you so much for Get the Sharpe Way membership, guys. Remember our rules? If you are, it's her second one she's given out. If you make $2 million a month, you may not take it. Otherwise, please grab a gift of membership. Thank you, Sarah. I appreciate it. Membership does matter. It helps tremendously. So please jump on if you can. So yes, absolutely.
What I'm saying to you.
But I want to get back to what your comment was about.
I want to get back to calling you a liar.
You said that people should not take your medical advice.
Yeah,
That's your position?
Yeah, absolutely. People should not be taking medical advice. I'm somebody who is not a physician, but they should also be skeptical about any medical advice. They need to do their own research. You know, you're a mom. If you're a mom, you do your own research on your baby carriage, on your baby bottles, on your baby formula.
But they don't have medical degrees, obviously. If you're a mom and you're looking at
well, look, if you don't have medical degree, you're an idiot. So I get it. Totally true.
What science has been
Totally
tested.
true.
They trust their doctors and their pediatricians.
And he's saying to do that. He's saying, find the medical professional that you trust and go to that medical professional. And you can go to that medical professional with ideas and things you've heard of. What's wrong with that? Say, hey, doctor, I heard this. Hey, doctor, I heard that. Can you help me walk me through this? I trust you. You know my kid. You know me. You know my family. That's what we want to do. We need more of that.
One of the responsibilities of living in a democracy where physicians and every sort of expert are subject to all kinds of biases. One of the responsibilities of living in a democracy is to do your own research and to make up your own mind.
So that's your message to moms or to anyone is to do your own research.
I would say be skeptical of authority. My father told me that when I was a young kid. People in authority lie.
People in authority lie. Oh, yes, brother. Of this entire interview, best line. People in authority lie.
And we've seen a lot of that in our country. And people in the media lie.
Oh, people in the media lie. She's not gonna like that.
And people need to make their own judgments and be skeptical and maintain their capacity for critical thinking. And that was shut down during COVID. And the media was complicit in that.
Yes, it was.
Disagree on that last part, Secretary.
Of course you do. You disagree because that would make you the criminal that you are.
Thank you for your time.
Good to meet you, Kaitlan.
I wonder, was it surprising to hear you say?
Now here is the after party, and it's how can we make him look bad?
Here, the HHS Secretary doubled down on saying that people should not listen to his medical advice.
See, you got to double down. Why should you listen to a guy who's not a doctor? A guy's telling you, do your own homework. Here's some ideas. Guy's crazy. Guy's crazy. I remember Jimmy Dore did this joke. Jimmy Dore did this joke. He said, in any other case, would you say this? Would you say, don't do your own homework? So someone says, I'm going to buy a new car. Oh, great. I'm going to go do my homework. Don't do any homework. Listen to the sales guy. The sales guy knows what's going on. No, you would go online, ask your friends, whatever. You would go do your own homework. Anything you should.
It wasn't surprising because he has said this before, and he's right that most secretaries have not been physicians. But at the same time, as you sort of alluded to during the interview, he is essentially the CEO of the largest health enterprise in the world. So his words definitely matter. And
yes, but Morgan says it. All of a sudden, getting a second opinion is anti-science. Yes. I mean, anti-authority. Yes, absolutely. Very valid point. Very valid.
He is out there, making recommendations on all sorts of different things, from infectious diseases to food dyes, all these sorts of things. So, he's got a lot of policy power. Unlike the Surgeon General, who's sort of the nation's doctor, he has policy mandate powers. So, yeah, it's surprising in that regard. I think he's trying to disentangle his own personal health choices.
And what's wrong with that? Look, I want to be very clear about something. This is the right answer. I'm one of the squarest guys you're ever going to meet, right? I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't do any type of drug at all. I don't do weed, nothing. The only drug I have is caffeine. That's the only drug I use. So no one else can? No, I'm not going to say that. You should do what works right for you. If you want to imbibe, please do so, whether that's cannabis or smoking or drinking or whatever. You do you. So why should you do what I say? Now, if you want to listen to my opinion, go ahead. Keto is magic. You're more than happy to follow the ketogenic diet. I've been on it for now 15 years. Does that mean everyone else has to? No. If you like what I say, please follow it. If you don't, that's fine too. And that's what he's saying. And that's what we should all say. Just because I do it doesn't mean you need to or should. What works for me, be very clear, keto is perfect for me. If you want to do it, please go ahead. But same thing, right? So this is the smart thing. But he's like, no, how dare you?
As the Secretary of Health.
Well, and in that role as Secretary of Health, back in April, he said that a new effort that they were going to carry out would, he said, find the cause of autism, the autism epidemic, as he called it, by September. Now he seems to be saying that that is slipping.
See? Liar. See that? This was just insults. At no point did I say anything about, I'm just telling you what they do, right? I know this already. It's how you do it. It's what they do.
So they would know more definitively by March of next year. Do you think that that is possible? What do you make of that timeline changing?
It certainly wasn't realistic by September, and it's still not realistic by March. I mean, Kaitlan.
How does he know? Right? How does he know that? Maybe. How does he know? He just goes, it's can't possible. You can never find out. Why? No one's tried. We have no idea if that's true or not. It might be and it might not. We don't know. He's just saying it because you must totally just dismiss it. And that's the part that bothers me completely.
And there have been studies that have been decades-long studies following kids who've been vaccinated, following kids who have not been vaccinated, and really looking into, the potential causes of autism. These are international studies. First thing he said to you in that interview was that the existing studies, many of which have been done, again, over decades, need to be replicated.
Yes, and that's because the people who did them, he believes that they're all bought and paid for by Big Pharma and Big Ag. And maybe he's wrong. Maybe they're not. Maybe scientific libertarian is correct. None of it. Then it'll come out right, won't he? As long as he's transparent. Now, if he hides stuff, I will absolutely call him out if he hides it. I don't think he will. He has said he'll be crazy transparent. I hope he will be crazy transparent. I hope he will. And if he's crazy transparent, then we'll see it. And we'll see who did it, and we'll see the whole deal. And if it'll come the same, then we're good. That's it. So, yes. Scientific Libertarian says, I'm on keto and I love it. I think it's magic. I'm with you, brother. I think it's magic. I love it. It's perfect for me. I would never want to get off it. And I haven't. 15 years straight. I love it. 100%. Yes. Joe says, last time I blindly listened to a doc was when I was given an anthrax shot while sick with a basic cold. Ended up being mono and I almost died. There's a reason second and third opinions are a thing. We all have worked with people who are subpar in healthcare as well. Yeah, there's an old saying. What do you call the doctor who came in dead last in every single class and every test in college? Doctor. Yes. So absolutely. 100%. So peace. Thank you for the Rumble rant. He says, Dr. Sanjay, a bit disappointing during the whole ivermectin thing with Joe. Yep. Remember him and Don Lemon? Yep. It was so bad. Couldn't watch Don after that. Sanjay's probably a good guy, held hostage by CNN. You have read that perfectly. This is Sanjay's bread and butter. He makes cash this way. He's not biting the hand that feeds him. He knows most of CNN's garbage. He knows that's why he had to back off from Rogan. He had to back off again and again and again. He kept backing off. Why? He was wrong. And he knew he was. Yes. Peace is on to say, keto, love it. I'm at 166 pounds. Mind is sharp. Dude, you skinnier than me now. Uh-oh. All right, I got to go hardcore now. I got to get down my fight weight. I got to be able to take out Peace. I got to get in the ring. All right, Peace. I got to get going here. Make me working out. Guys, I'm going to ask one more time. Please click the button known as like. I hope you enjoy what we're doing. If you do, click that button. It does matter so much. It's how I get past the banning, also known as shadowing. Yes, I get past it that way. If you have not already reposted this or shared this, please do so. I appreciate it. If you have not joined me or followed me on Facebook, X, and Rumble, please do that. I'm trying to get more people on my Rumble. I got about 450 people trying to get to 500. If you are a member of Rumble or on Rumble, please come join my my show there. It would help tremendously. If you have not subscribed to Sharpe Way YouTube, please do so. Click that all notifications button. It is important to do so. If you have not become a member yet and you can, please grab a free one. Sarah dropped off 2. Grab one if you can. If you can't grab one, you can always join. $29 per month. The more we do here, the less I have to work, the more I can work on this. That's what's important. Remember, the algorithm loves it when you comment after the live. I've been very bad, been so busy, but this weekend I will catch up and I will start catching up on all the lives. I'll start catching up on all the comments you meant. I'll start responding to them all. I'm way behind, but I will catch up. And I'm like 2 shows behind, but I will pop on and I will respond to all of them. Please, if you can, after this over. And I'm going to ask you, tell me what you think of RFK's actual things he's done so far. What do you think about it? Is it good? Is it bad? Which ones do you like, don't like? What do you think? And I might go one step further. What is he going to do? What do you think? I'd love to hear what you think about what he's doing there. It'd be great if you can do that. And remember, if this is not live and you're watching it's not live, it's afterwards, you're going to see a couple of videos pop up. Please click on one of them and watch for at least 8 minutes. Rhythm loves that too. I will see you all very soon.